Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and welcome to another battle in Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD. In today's battle, the Kingdom of Aragon is under attack by its powerful neighbor. The Kingdom of Castile has long wished for a united Iberia, and Aragon stands in the way of that unification. With an army from Portugal arriving in the spring, Castile marched into Aragonese lands in early May. Their first target was the small town of Cape. This would cut Zaragoza off from the rest of Aragon, leaving the road to the capital open. The Count of Toulouse was not pleased to hear of Castile's plan. Not only was relations friendly between Toulouse and Aragon, but the Count of Toulouse hated the King of Castile, for he had refused a marriage proposal of the King of Castile to the Count's eldest daughter, with the Castilian king remarking that he couldn't pick her out from a herd of cattle. So it was not too surprising that French troops were at the walls of Cape when Castile and Portugal arrived. The first attacking army on the battlefield today is the Kingdom of Castile, commanded by myself, and this was an early period battle only, so you will not see any Tier 2 or Tier 3 units in these army comps. It was strictly limited to early period units. But I do like to do that every once in a while because it allows us to see some of the units that aren't normally brought to a 1212 battle. But let's see what the King of Castile has brought in his army. In the front lines, he has 4 units of the honderos, slinger unit. And I've got the tooltip open on the left-hand side. A couple of you have been asking me to leave that open, so you guys can take a look at the stats of some of these units. So they've got pretty good range and a lot of ammunition, a lot more than archers, so that's where their strength is going to be. But if you're looking for armor, there is none. Moving on, we've got 6 units of dismounted caballeros, so that's the main line infantry that I brought to the battlefield. I was able to bring 1 catapult as well. Now, this is an unfortified town, so I don't need too much firepower, but they do have access to defensive towers, so that's what I'll be using my catapult to destroy. Right behind that, I've got 4 units of the Peones de Elite, and the rules were max 2 pikes and or polearms per player, but the reason I brought 4 is because my ally, his roster, he didn't have access to any pikes or polearms, so I was able to bring 4, and he has none. The final unit behind here is my best unit. It's got triple gold chevron upgrades, and it is a unit of Monteros de Espinosa. And I wanted to keep them close to the king because they had very similar coloring, so it's almost like they are a dismounted bodyguard unit. And bodyguard of the great King of Castile himself. He is on the battlefield and ready to conquer Aragon. And look at that crown. He definitely wants people on the battlefield to know who the King of Castile is. It's almost as if he put his helmet on and then put his crown over top of his helmet. Like it's like an afterthought. He's like, oh, well, if I put this helmet on, no one's going to know who I am. So then he puts this massive jewel-encrusted golden crown on top of his helmet. Very, very awesome to see. He does have 2 units of cavalry as well, one on either flank. I've got a unit of hidalgos with triple gold chevrons. And way over here on the other side, I've got another unit, but it is a caballero unit, again with triple gold chevrons. And that rounds out the army of Castile, so let's go ahead and take a look at his ally. The next attacking army on the battlefield today is the Kingdom of Portugal, commanded by the Hunted? I hope that's how you pronounce your name, man. If not, let me know down in the comments below. But this guy was a random that had jumped into our 1212 lobby, and I don't typically play with randoms just because I don't know their playstyle very well. He was saying that he was a real big noob to Total War, but assured us that he would do a great job on the battlefield, and he needed a lot of help setting up his army comp, so I did give him quite a few tips, so hopefully he'll be able to use it effectively here. But in the front lines, he has 8 units of the Caballeros Apiedos, so very good solid melee infantry in the front lines. We've got 4 units of the Fundieros, so he's also decided to go with 4 units of Slingers. Again, a lot of ammunition there, so hopefully the ammunition will be good for us, having a lot more ammunition than the defending archers. There's also a catapult here, so he will be using those to focus down the arrow towers on his flank, which is excellent. He's got some spears on the flanks, 4 of them, but 2 on either flank. The Militia Concelia. I'm not sure if the H is silent there or not. You guys can let me know down in the comments below. But I'm just looking at these shields. Very, very cool unit, especially for a tier 1 unit here. A lot of variation in the coat of arms on these shields. Very, very nice unit. For his cavalry, he's brought 2 units of the Cavaleiros, so 1 on either flank. And then, of course, we have the Portuguese general himself. It is Mesnada do Comandante, I think is how you pronounce it. And he looks ready for battle as well. I love the Portuguese flag, too. Very cool looking. Well, that rounds out the attacking forces, so let's go ahead and take a look at the defenders. Defending their homelands from the King of Castile, we have the Crown of Aragon, commanded by Shark. And in the front lines here, he has 6 units of the Almogaveres. And these guys are very solid because they've actually got Pila that they can throw before charging into melee or holding in a shield wall. And you can see that they have 10 shots of that. So they will absolutely shred the lightly armored enemies as they try to close the distance with these units. So he's got 2 here, he's got 2 here, he has 2 here, and actually he has 1 more. So he has 7 Almogaveres covering the outer choke points next to the defensive towers. For his archers or his crossbows, he has 3 units of the Pionese crossbowmen. 1 there and 2 up on the walls. For his spears, he actually has 5 units of the Pionese spearmen. He has 2 down here, and he's got 1 here, and then 2 over here. He's got 2 units of pikemen, the Piquier, or Perquier? Perquiers? I'm not exactly sure. That sounds like the French pikemen, but I don't think it's pronounced exactly the same, so I'm not 100% sure on that one. But he has 1 there, and he has 1 over here. And he also has 2 units of cavalry. He has 2 units of Hildagos with triple bronze chevron upgrades. And finally, we've got the Aragonese bodyguard, the King's bodyguard. So he is present, and he is an absolute Chad as well with this massive crown on top of his helmet. But that one actually looks like it fits a little better, like maybe that's his battle crown and not his personal crown. So, yeah, but definitely still very obvious he is the King of Aragon in this battle. So hopefully we'll see actually a little bit of one-on-one action between them in the battle to come. But we've got one more army comp to take a look at, and then we'll get to the battle. The final defending army on the battlefield today is the County of Toulouse, commanded by Azrian Fox. And in the front lines here, he has 4 units of communal spearmen. Scattered in and about the town, he's got 4 units of archers. He's got 2 down here, and then he has 2 way over here in the town center. Hidden from view, and hopefully from our slinger fire, we've got 2 units of the axe sergeants. Also in the town center, we have 2 units of the Goussamier de Comines, so he's actually brought halberdiers or polearms to the battlefield, but I don't think that the County of Toulouse has access to pikemen, so that's a good second choice. More spearmen here. For his melee infantry, he's brought 5 units of the dismounted Chevalier. And then we come to his cavalry finally. He's got 2 units of Chevalier, and then the actual Count of Toulouse is on the battlefield as well, defending his friend, the King of Aragon. And this is a modest man. This is someone you should model yourself off. He left his big crown at home, doesn't even have a helmet, just knew that he would be traveling long distances, and it probably is a good idea to not let everybody know, including your enemies, which one is the leader of your nation on the battlefield, because they could probably focus you down with some archers or slingers. So this man, very modest, excellent looking beard, so definitely a man that I could fight for should I have lived back in medieval times. But that rounds out the army comps, so let's go ahead and finally get to the battle. Alright guys, welcome to the battlefield, and as you can see, my dismounted heavy infantry is moving forwards very slowly towards the Almogaveres, but you can see that they're already unleashing a volley of Pila as I try to close the distance. That's why I'm trying to get there as quickly as possible now that I am in range, because the lightly armored infantry here is really going to suffer. Look at the casualties I am taking before I even make it to the lines. And there we go. Finally, the first engagement, and thankfully that does silence the Pila mostly. It looks like some of them are still actually getting some volleys there. Now, toe-to-toe, my units should do better than the Aragon units because we're a little more heavily armored than theirs are, but they've definitely taken a lot of damage getting to the Almogaveras. If we just take a look here, you can see that some bodies do litter this field between then and there. And now it looks like we do have the pikemen moving forwards. However, the crossbows that are up on the bastion there of the town center, they actually have pretty solid range, and they do begin to fire at me relatively soon. And I do want to get my pikemen in there as quickly as possible just to help my dismounted caballeros a little bit, but already you can see that the first unit has broken and the second unit is not far behind. So I'm going to go ahead and push my pikemen forwards here as we get them into melee. The Almogaveras, I don't want them to have a chance to volley my pikemen. And there we go. Now we are starting to turn the tide as the lightly armored Aragonese suffer at the hands of my pikemen. Thankfully, some of my units did return from routing, so I am sending them back on in. I've also got my 2 units of slingers over here, and I'm doing an excellent job of tearing down these Almogaveras. They're quite poorly armored, as you can see. Their armor is only 5, so we're able to kind of take them down pretty easily. A stray shot from the catapult actually hitting there as well, which is excellent. However, the crossbows are starting to hit my slingers as well. They, as I said, I was very surprised at the amount of range that they did have. We have this unit actually sliding forwards. I think Shark is trying to get it into range to fire at my slingers. And let's take a look at how the Hunted is doing. He's also engaged. He's pushed a unit of Caballeros Apiedos in to challenge the Communal Spearmen for the County of Toulouse. But this is a very hard nut to crack here. You can see that it's a very thick spear formation, so he's going to have some issues getting in there. It looks like he is sending a second unit of infantry to aid. And we've got some of the fundieros moving around, just looking for some choice targets to fire at. He's a little bit hampered by the small choke points. You can see that he's got 2 very tiny choke points here to deal with. And he could go all the way around the back, but they still do have an operational tower there. Myself, I'm also not doing great. I am breaking through over on this side, but I did not notice the Hildagos, until way too late. You can see that I was trying to hit the 1 unit with my catapult, and I did get quite a few kills, but my units here are completely defended, and I'm way too slow on activating my caballeros. Thankfully, I was able to lock 1 of the units down, but these slingers are in big trouble here as the Aragonese cavalry rides them down. So this is disastrous here. I don't have anything to lock this down. You can see I'm quickly trying to run up my heavy infantry over there to stop that unit from escaping. I'm also trying to move my pikemen forwards, but annoyingly, he is able to just get right around. I'm forming up this pike unit here just to try to hem them in, but he's going to turn around and actually get a good charge on the backs. Oh no, never mind. He's going to actually charge into my melee infantry. I was duped twice. I thought he was going to charge into my cavalry on the battlefield as well as in the replay, and he's tricked me twice now. Absolute mad lad. And now this unit is starting to pull away, which is good for my cavalry because they are starting to waver a bit. But now we've got another hammering coming in from the Aragonese cavalry. Take a look at this charge here. Absolutely disgusting, and I am in big trouble at this point. My second cavalry unit had been sent over to the Hunted side because we did have a sally out from the 2 units of Chevalier from Toulouse, but nothing came out of it, so I've cut that out. He just sallied out and then sallied back in, or retreated back into the city center. But yeah, my second unit of cavalry, you can see, is just arriving now with my general. Thankfully, I was able to break the 1 unit of Hildagos, so I'm going to make sure that that unit doesn't return. But look at this. Thankfully, I have used up most of my ammunition, but now he's actually going for my catapult over here. And then I have a huge soft underbelly with my remaining slingers and my pikemen that have just broken and some of my caballeros. But yes, charging into my catapult, quickly driving the crew from their catapults. And I am quickly trying to push my heavy melee infantry in to save them, but then again, I wasn't too concerned because most of the ammunition had been used up already. And it looks like he is kind of getting stuck on the catapults themselves as he does try to withdraw, but withdraw he does indeed. And again, my slingers wide open over here. I formed them up to try to volley on the Aragonese cavalry, but they take way too long to fire. And there we go. You can see just getting a couple of shots off, but that is too little too late as Shark runs down the remainder of my slingers. So this is pretty much bad news bears for me on this side. A lot of my infantry has been routed. You can see that my other 2 units of slingers are gone from the battlefield at this point. But thankfully, I was able to continue running that unit down. I think it might actually come back. I can't exactly remember. But I've got this unit of Hidalgos moving forwards over here, and I notice that this is a very thin unit. Even though it is in shield wall, it's only 4 ranks deep, and I think that I can actually break through here. And break through indeed. It's not exactly wide enough. The backline was actually able to stop most of the charge, but it just wasn't enough. And now it's like an Uno reverse card going off over here, where now Shark is the one with Pandemonium behind his lines. Huge charge into the Almogaveres. You can see that those 2 units are wavering. He was bringing some spears down, but I thought that was the perfect opportunity to charge into them. There we go, so about 50 to 60 lost in that charge. I'm going to turn them around once again and charge into this very depleted unit of Almogaveres, make sure that they are routed. And then we've got this unit of Almogaveres that I can hit. I've got this unit here that I'll be able to hit. So just like that, the battlefield has kind of evened out at this point. Let's go ahead and put it back onto slow motion here as all of these cavalry tactics are just exploding on this side of the battlefield. Again, the spears moving forwards, but they are not in a position to hold. They aren't in any form of shield wall, so another huge charge into them as well. And then I'm going to turn them around and hit this unit here and be able to break this entire flank with this 1 unit of cavalry. So very even play between Shark and myself. Shark really having the upper hand, destroying a lot of my slingers. He destroyed a lot of my heavy infantry, but I have gone and done the same. So kudos to you, brother, for your cavalry play. But we have evened things out. And just like that, that unit is going to break as well. Thankfully, this cavalry is still quite healthy as well. I do have my general here, and I think I do have a 3rd cavalry unit, but look at what an idiot I am. I actually left this cavalry unit in range of all of his crossbows. So this cavalry unit is just being annihilated. I just noticed now what is happening and actually tried to get them out of there. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Now he's actually focusing this unit. I'm just going to run down the few depleted units that did return from routing here, but I'm also quickly trying to move my pikemen up to get ready to push for the town center. Meanwhile, the Hunted, a lot slower movement going in. Again, he really had to break through that very tough choke point. Here we go. We actually have a charge and a counter charge between some of the militia spearmen of Portugal and the Chevalier cavalry. I hear some huge hits from the artillery hitting the Chevalier, but apparently they have a fire resistance potion activated because none of them died to that. How is that even possible? Good counter charge there, though, by Azrian Fox, effectively surrounding this unit of militia, but then we've actually got a counter charge here by some of the heavy Portuguese infantry. So we've got a whole blob of units going on over here. That was a good hit, but again, looks like not many of them died there. Not exactly sure why. That one might have killed 1 or 2. Azrian Fox here, the sneak that he is, sees a very small opening where his Chevalier may be able to sneak out and around, but it looks like he was caught. I'm just breaking down this barricade, but in hindsight, with seeing that cavalry now, I probably should hold off on that. but I don't think that past Celtic noticed that cavalry there. Meanwhile, he is trying to break through here. I did feel bad for the Hunted because he's got such small choke points to work with here. And these communal spearmen, even though they are tier 1 spearmen, they are actually quite solid. Especially how Adrian has them set where they're 6 to 8 ranks deep. They will hold for quite some time. And I am trying to give you guys some slow-mos and some zoomed-in looks of the battle, but we've just got so much that's going on here. You can see I've got my 2 units of cavalry actually flanking around this direction, along with the Cavaleiros of Portugal. I am already pushing very heavily on the town center here, but I'm trying to protect a lot of my remaining units from the fire of those Peonese crossbowmen. And yes, see, Adrian was waiting for this. He sees all of my depleted units moving in here. I tried to form shield wall, but it is too little too late once again. Such a sloppy play from me here. I should have noticed that cavalry and noticed him waiting for me to break that barricade. And I do not have the manpower to be throwing units away like this. I've got my very elite unit moving in here, the Monteros de Espinosa, or Espinosa. I'm trying to quickly follow that cavalry, but again, he's just going to charge again into those units. Just got the slow motion there to appreciate the impact. Hitting 3 units and actually still getting enough of a charge on the back unit to knock some of them to the ground. And oh, I love the look of this unit. It's so amazing, but yeah, quickly tried to get in there just to provide some bodies and some morale. I've also got the King of Castile there riding on through. You can see him. He has pushed forwards, and he is right in the front lines there. Let's quickly take a view of the battlefield from above. So yeah, this has become a bit of a killing zone here in the center. You can see that we've got some dismounted chevalier here that are an easy pickings for my my Castilian king. However, he was actually caught up by a depleted unit of Goussanier de Communé, and I noticed that, and I immediately need to get my general out of there, because throwing my general way like that against those polearms would definitely point to me as being the noob in this situation. I am very reckless with my general, as many of you do know. I think it's probably 1 out of 100 battles that I have my general alive at the end of them, but I don't want to throw my general away this early on in the battle. Over here, though, I've got my 2 other units of cavalry. I was going to move forwards here, but again, in this very small choke point, he is a very solid unit here. You can see he's 2, 4, 6, 7 ranks deep, and I'm not going to get away with the same cavalry charge situation that I had against Shark, where it was only 3 ranks deep. So I figured I would move my cavalry over here, but again, parking them right beside this tower. Celtic, what are you doing? Oh, I called the Hunted a noob, but just out of jokes in the army comps, but it's definitely me that's putting down the noob plays here in this battle. A lot of sloppy play here from me. But again, I just need to break through this very depleted unit of Goussanier de Communé, and then I have 2 fresh units of Chevalier that I can slam into the back of. And even still with this depleted unit, Adrian is not done, trying to sneak his way through. I don't know if he plans to flank around and get some charges off on the fresh unit of... Where are they? They're at the front there, the Monteros de Espinosa. Hunted as well, being very conservative with his slingers, kind of saving them for choice targets. I'm hoping he is trying to get in range of those pikemen and start volleying those pikemen if he can. Over here, fighting these halberds, that's not a good sign. Looks like Adrian didn't really notice that the heavy infantry for Portugal was moving in on him. He did manage to get a bit of a counter charge, but it wasn't enough to really affect the unit. And he has just disengaged there. Unfortunately, though, this unit is being fought in the back by a dismounted Chevalier unit, and now Hunted has to make a choice to either push for the Chevalier or turn around and fight the dismounted Chevalier. So that's between a rock and a hard place. And here comes the rock against the hard place. Oh, yeah, that was a good charge, sandwiching that unit between the dismounted Chevalier and the Chevalier that just charged in, and surely that is going to break them. No, they managed to hold, but probably only because they are single chevron upgrades, so their morale is a little more staunch than usual. Over here, the spears actually breaking before being able to get through this barricade here. And the archers just destroying the remains of them as they try to retreat from the battlefield. And there we go. Okay, this is good. So my pikemen have moved forwards here with my Monteros de Espinosa. 2 units of dismounted chevalier are wavering, but those crossbows are annihilating my units. You can see them just raining down. I did turn on projection trails for this battle just to give you an idea of the amount of arrows coming down from over here, and I believe those are from the County of Toulouse archers that are up there. But you can see the heads poking up from the walls of the town center as well. Those are the Aragonese crossbowmen, just annihilating my poor units. And that surely is the pikemen retreating. Thankfully, they did return. This unit is very solid, though. They are holding. They've only got 23 kills, but they just don't seem to be dying as fast as my other units. Over here as well, you can see that the pike-on-pike action is really not going too well. And although the balance of power is still in our favor, we have a deficit of manpower. Granted, we did start at about a 300 and, well, over 300 deficit of manpower to the defenders. So it is closer than before, but we're not gaining manpower over them. So yeah, it is looking like a bit of dire straits, but did we manage to break the Chevalier? Where's the other unit of Chevalier? Did he pull it out? Oh no, it's there. Okay, I was gonna say, how the heck did he get that surrounded unit out? We do have the pikemen moving forwards here. The cavalry has moved down. I was trying to sneak through here, I think. I thought if I could activate a charge that they would be able to hit that pike unit, but it wasn't going to happen, so I had to disengage them. Very frustrating there because that cavalry is very elite, and you can see it's just being focused down by archers. This barricade still protecting the Toulousian archers here. And most of the Hunted's men have been wrapped up on this flank. And it looks like 2 units of slingers are now undefended, and I'm sure that Azrian will be moving the Chevalier forwards to take them out once he notices that. Maybe not? Oh, I'm surprised he didn't bring them forwards here, because the barricade does protect them. There we go, that last unit of Chevalier has broken, so now we're actually taking on the pikemen. Probably a bit too many here. We're blobbing up our forces quite considerably. Probably not ideal. Slingers moving forwards into melee. Hunted probably microing on other areas of the battlefield, so didn't quite notice that. And yeah, it looks like he is starting to pull them back there. We've got a cavalry triangle here as well, so I hoped that Azrian, his units, just being the AI that they were, would have followed as he pulled his slingers out, but unfortunately he just formed them back up. But yeah, so this is the state here. So you can see my units have all but gone from this area of the battlefield, and you can see where the death and destruction has happened. Most of it actually outside of the city itself. Look at all of the dead Castilians here. And some of my general actually looks like it died there. Over here as well, a huge killing zone for the defenders. Very, very tough battle. I've got a very depleted unit moving around here. My general is still there. I've got the unit of caballeros. They're still healthy. And I'm trying to open this barricade again just to get at these archers, but Azrian's just using that to his benefit here. It's so annoying that he was thinking about that. I wanted to open up another choke point so I could get some units around to flank all of the Toulousian units. I was going to have Hunted push his spears forward to block there so that the cavalry wouldn't be able to charge in. Thankfully, with us being formed up over here, I don't think the cavalry is getting as good of a charge over top of the remains of the barricade, but those archers are still causing us issues. And speaking of the spears, the Portuguese Militia Concelia have broken from the battlefield. Another charge coming in. Hold, Castilians! Yeah, it doesn't look like they're getting as good of a charge over top of that barricade, which is definitely good for me. Over here, though, these pikemen easily holding the remains of our units. Easily. Such a tough battle here. But the Aragonese, they know that they cannot relent, for if they lose this territory, if they lose this city of Capet, their capital of Zaragoza will effectively be surrounded by hostile territory. And the road to the capital is through Capet, so if this city does get taken, or this town does get taken, then the road to the capital will be held by the King of Castile. And that is also bad too, because that would mean that any of the provisions they would be getting from the rest of the country would not be coming to the capital. It would actually be seized at this town. Now, we did have a charge there from the Portuguese cavalry, getting a good charge on the dismounted Chevalier, but those Fusiliers de Commune really holding them from breaking through there. And the cavalry has just retreated. Still fighting over here, though. We've got a Spirit of Sword unit taking on the Communal Spearmen, and what did I tell you about these guys? They will just hold for the entire battle. Very, very strong unit here. Even in the face of overwhelming numbers, Azrian just really doesn't have to look at these two areas of the battlefield, because they will just hold for the remainder. He does have his general there as well, the Count's bodyguard. I'm charging in a very depleted unit there. Probably not the best idea. I know it's only 8 in the unit, but charge them onto the Fusiliers de Commune is just a death sentence for them. Over here, though, I'm very hesitant to move forwards. I believe that my dismounted Caballeros is not even in shield wall at this point. But I don't want to try and flank around these pikemen because we just don't have the manpower for it at this point. You can see that I'm starting to push through over here. I didn't want to take this bait. I know that Azrian was telling Shark to actually pull his spearmen back so that my pike would actually come through, but I knew that the Aragonese king would have just ping-ponged right off the crossbows or come around the crossbows and then slammed into the back of my remaining units. So I kept my pikemen there kind of to defend them, but oh, look at the arrows coming in, and they have broken for the battlefield too. What cowards. What cowards. My poor units. Look at the men in the blood and the mud too. This guy has an arrow through his head and he is just suffering before perishing. Oh, poor guy. Poor guy. I feel for you, man. We thought that we would be able to unify all of Iberia into a great Kingdom of Castile, but it looks like Aragon is going to hold on to their independence for a little while longer. Let's quickly zoom out and see what else is happening. There's 8 minutes left in this battle. I've got my general coming in here. Here comes Careless Celtic with his general. King's bodyguard coming in for a bit of justice. Yes! Yes, that feels good. There's the Castilian king trying to disengage. He's going to actually charge into the Chevalier. And where did he go? I want to keep an eye on him here. In fact, let's put this on slow motion for a bit so we can enjoy this. I thought I did see him ride forwards a little further. He's not there. Oh, there he is. Okay. Oh, that is not good. He's actually got one bodyguard there, but he's completely surrounded by, what do we got? Okay, so that bodyguard took down one of them, so that's just 3 of them at this point. It used to be 4v2, but now it's 3v1? No, get back here, dude. Defend your king. What are you doing? You can see I've even got that bodyguard unit. I was trying to get them in there, the Monteros de Espinosa, to protect the king, but they have broken from the battlefield as well. We've got a 1v1 going on here between the bodyguard, and we've got a 2v1 between the King of Castile and 2 of the Count's Chevalier. And it looks like they're going to disengage there. Okay. Yes. Have they broken or something? Or he's just pulling them away? Oh, the Chevalier have broken, but the king's bodyguard is broken as well. Oh no, where is he going to go off to? Some Spanish troops there. That must be terrifying to see your king flee the battlefield, knowing that you probably won't have the same pleasure of being able to retreat off this battlefield. Unfortunately, I don't think that this king is going to come back. Thankfully, my Monteros de Espinosa did return, which is excellent, but a lot of my units at this point are pretty much dead. The Hunted does have some troops still left, but again, they are locked down over here in these 2 choke points, and at a pretty hefty cost, Aragon and Toulouse managed to hold the city with 7 minutes remaining. I think the rest of the 7 minutes is mostly just cleanup, if I'm honest. I do have this unit that did return, so I'm gonna charge them back in and just go out with. I'm not gonna go out without a fight. If I can't win and I can't take the city of Cape, then I'm going to take down as many Aragonese as possible. And I'm just very curious because I don't remember if my... yes, he did come back! Excellent! And we've got a unit of archers from Toulouse over here. I think we do have some of the Fondieros. I'm not sure if they're going to volley these archers or charge on in, but my king, I believe, does move in as well, getting a bit of retribution on the Count of Toulouse by annihilating some of his archers. Yeah, here he comes. Let's see how this goes here. Charge in, men! Charge in! Oh, good charge, guy. What was that? That was crap. Oh, well. There we go. Yes, slaughter them. Slaughter them, king. Come on, you're the king of the great Kingdom of Castile. There we go. And we got the Fondieros as well, moving in to defend the Castilian king, and there we go. They have broken. So that is quite good. Balance of power did tick a little bit more into our favor. It's 926 to 1626. So at this point, they outnumber us quite a bit. And look at this, pulling back his communal spearmen there, opening up a gap for the militia spearmen of Portugal to get charged in the back by the Chevalier. What a huge charge there. I don't know exactly what they were still battling there. It must have been some broken units from them? Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but that is the Count that is charged in. So whereabouts is he? Where is the Count? There he is, yes. Definitely defended by his loyal bodyguard, surrounded by his men. Fighting spears, though, that is a danger. We don't want the Count to actually be slain on the battlefield here. Is he going to be able to escape? It looks like he is. He's running down the remains of the Portuguese on this flank. And, oh goodness, no, the general died. Oh, so the King of Castile fell. We just missed that. Looks like at the hands of some dismounted Chevalier. Where did he fall? I won't be able to probably see him in this mass of bodies. Oh, somewhere around here, it looks like. The brave bodyguard's still battling it out. There we go. Oh, rest in peace. Rest in peace, King. And whereabouts is the Hunted's general? He's got it over here, so quite healthy. He's moving it forwards. The crossbows do still have some ammunition, though, so he is going to have to be very careful about that. But we've got some swords here as well that are just being shot to bits by the Pionese crossbowmen. Pikeman can't get through there with his cavalry. He could maybe ride around, but again, spears defending there. Best bet is to maybe break this unit of dismounted Chevalier and hit the backs of these 2 units. But again, we've got the Count's bodyguard being activated to defend this choke point moving forwards. And it looks like, I don't even think the King's bodyguard for Aragon has even engaged. So he hasn't even needed to get his sword wet at this point. Meanwhile, the Count of Toulouse is getting his sword wet, and it's not even his country. So again, just really goes to show the mettle of this guy. I really like the look of him. He seems like a guy I would trust with my life. You know, he gets down and dirty, like in the battles with the boys, right? He doesn't sit atop some high hill, just surveying the battlefield. He's down there offering support to his men, you know, probably patting them on the back, just telling them to hold a little bit longer. Very brave soul. Portuguese general also in here. Oh, that volley, though. Volley's just coming down on top of the Portuguese general there. It looks like they are muscling through the dismounted Chevalier. But are we going to get a charge from the Count? No? Oh, it looks like he charged into the flank of the the Caballeros Apieros. And I wouldn't be surprised if he turns around to do it again. At this point, I think that all of the Castilian forces have broken from the battlefield. So there's 480 of the Portuguese remaining, 1,400 of the combined defenders remaining. And here comes the Count, in for another charge. It looks like even... Yeah, okay, I was going to say that broken horse cart there did actually slow down that charge. You can see, I think that the Count himself was one of the ones that was slowed down by that horse cart. Didn't get as good of a charge as he probably would have liked. This is a very dangerous position for the Count of Toulouse to be in, though. Oh no, but there we go! The King of Aragon has come forwards. So finally, towards the end of the battle, he is battling with some of the Portuguese bodyguard here, right at the back with his men. Come on, are you gonna get a kill? Great King of Aragon? It doesn't look like it. You guys are kind of just dancing back and forth. Come on, boys. Protect your king. You can see the battle ensuing with the Count in the background there. We'll just enjoy this as the last cinematic shot of this battle. So thanks to the Count of Toulouse and his men, Aragon was able to hold in spite of the overwhelming numbers of the combined armies of Portugal and Castile attacking his lands. And finally, there we go, icing on the cake as the axe sergeants move in to hew the remaining Portuguese to pieces. Wow, what a bloody battle. I love Tier 1 battles like this because it's just so quick and dirty, and there's a lot of bloodshed, and before you know it, it's pretty much over. Well done to both sides, and well done to Shark for that cavalry charge at the beginning. Well done to Azarian for his extended cavalry charging through basically the entirety of the battle. And it's just so unfortunate for the Hunted. These two choke points just still holding, even with 40 seconds remaining. He has units here that are quite healthy, but they just cannot get through those two choke points. And I think the Portuguese general has broken from the battlefield. Doesn't say that he was killed, though, at this point. So he may actually escape. That actually could be him there. It's quite possible. I'm not sure. But, yep, there we go. Looks like finally the remaining swordsman from the Portuguese has broken, and the axe sergeants are just slaughtering them. And there we go, a valiant defeat. So let's go ahead and take a look at the end results. Alright guys, here is the end results for the battle. So taking a look at myself versus Shark, my king getting 119 kills. Pikemen is kind of a mixed bag. A lot of them didn't do too well because they were focused down quite heavily during the battle, but one of them did manage to scrape out 109 kills. My heavy infantry is also quite a mixed bag, only 2 of them getting over 100 kills, which is unfortunate. Slingers did okay, considering they only were there for the first 5 minutes of the battle, but my cavalry 106, and then for the Hidalgos 668 kills. That is excellent. Very, very good to see that. That's pretty much my MVP unit on the battlefield. Looking at Shark, even though his king didn't commit for the first, I'd say, 80% of the battle, the remaining 20%, he still managed to get about 64 kills. His spears did okay, but his pikemen did quite solid. Some of his almogaveres did quite well, again with those pila, just slaughtering my men as I tried to close the distance with them. But his crossbows, he really did well with his crossbows. 435 kills, 272 and 127. And the cavalry that caused so much trouble for me early on, 261 and 68. Looking at the Hunted versus Azarian here, the Hunted spears, 2 of them doing very well, actually. His swords also quite a mixed bag. Also, for him, only 2 of them getting over 100 kills. He did much better with his slingers than I did, but again, they lasted for the majority of the battle. They weren't eliminated in the first 5 minutes. His cavalry didn't do as well, but his catapult managed to get 27 kills. Looking at Azrian here, 149 with the Count's Bodyguard, charging in those axemen very late on in the battle, and still 151 and 85. That's quite good. The spearmen did their job of holding. The Goussamier de Comines did quite well. Chevalier did okay. Archers did fantastic. A lot of them over 100 kills. Well, I wouldn't say fantastic, but they did pretty well. And 331 and 205 with his cavalry, so very solid cavalry work there in this battle. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one.